When I was a child, I had a dream. In the dream, I was walking on a road I knew very well, a road in my neighborhood, one where some members of my family had walked before me. I could see them ahead, walking together, and for a while I followed behind. But after some time, I took a different turn and found myself walking alone. The road led me to a quiet river. The water was calm, but there was something strange. A big snake was lying there, its head resting on the riverbank, its mouth wide open, like it was waiting for me. But I wasn't afraid. I just walked straight into its mouth. Then the snake went under the water, and suddenly I was living there too, in the underworld. In the first 5 months of 2021, I was on a Sangoma initiation journey. My decision to embark on that path came during a debilitating cycle of mental illness, followed by a series of dreams that seemed to point me toward the spiritual calling. At that time, I was already in therapy for severe depression, with recurring psychotic episodes that often spiraled into suicidal tendencies. And of course, anxiety was always a part of this mix. But therapy and medication didn't seem to help. A distant friend of mine who was already practicing as a Sangoma invited me for a consultation. She told me that I had an ancestral calling. Now, convinced by her words and by my dreams, I believed that my suffering was rooted in spiritual misalignment. I concluded that the only way to heal was to go through initiation. I admitted myself into her home as her first initiate, and as someone who had no background of Ubungoma, I didn't understand much of what was happening to me and even around me. But one thing I did know was this: if something didn't feel right, it wasn't right. I leaned heavily into that sensitivity, which eventually made me a thorn in the Gobela's flesh. She began to withdraw from me until she eventually deserted me altogether. Then one fateful morning, I woke up from a dream of 3 elders, 2 women and 1 man arriving at the gate of her house with a goat, saying they had come to fetch me. I took that as a sign. I packed my bags and left her home. Back at my family home, I was terrified that nothing in my life would ever work out again. I went to consult with another Sangoma who also confirmed the ancestral call. I was admitted yet again into another institution, one that turned out to be far more abusive. There I endured verbal, emotional, financial, and physical abuse. I started going to work on my off days just to escape the pain of what I had chosen out of fear. The abuse continued until one day when I decided that I needed an escape plan. But before I could run away, I collapsed. I was hospitalized for 7 days, then transferred to a psychiatric clinic for 21 days. I missed the Indwaso ceremony that I was to be actively involved in, but looking back now, it was never meant to be my journey. By the end of those 21 days, my psychologist wrote a letter to the Gobela requesting that I be discharged temporarily as I was heavily medicated and unable to carry out the duties of an initiate. But that letter was a license to walk away freely from something that was never mine to experience. I got away from human hands because he who began the good work in me knew he would bring it on to completion. I died in my childhood, and for 3 decades I was living in the belly of a snake. My life I lived in the astral for 33 years. God hid me because if they knew who I am, they would have killed me then. And so the spiritual death I died was for my protection, while in the physical realm I lived as the world lives, under control. And now I return as an ancient soul, an old being, guided by the same dream returning to me, except that this time I walked out of the snake's mouth. I remembered my covenant with God. I remembered the wisdom I initiated for, to heal myself and reincarnate as a natural healer for humanity. The hits I took in the flesh, I fought in the underworld with darkness, spiritual forces, and principalities, rattling those stubborn ancestral cages that hold deep and ancient mysteries that no one knew about. And these scars I carry are the secrets of my ancestors hidden in Akashic records, the truth of my life. These scars are proof that I've been tried and tested, that I've been equipped with wisdom that no one has access to, strength and courage to speak openly about, and ordained by the universe to step into my power. My dreams have always been guiding me, and even in the confusion, I was always divinely led. God called me, God gifted me, God tested me, God tried me, God equipped me, and when He was pleased with me, God healed me. He enabled me and sent me into the world as a guiding star that I am. I shared my story to tell you that not every ancestral gift is initiated for through human contact. Not everyone who carries spiritual gifts should be a Sangoma. No matter how difficult things may seem for you, sometimes all it takes is sitting with the difficulty, because when you've sat long enough with it, it teaches you what comfort cannot teach you. And when the student is ready, the teacher appears.